What if Vegeta lived on planet Yardrat and actually never returned back to planet Earth? Now, as far as the timeline for when this particular event would occur, I would do something different as opposed to having Vegeta die in the Frieza saga or the Planet Namek saga. I would say Vegeta would maybe suffer a similar fate, or not suffer a fate, but actually have a similar outcome to that of Goku. Maybe Vegeta would be knocked out on some distant part of the planet. Everything else transpires between Goku and Frieza, and right before the planet blows up, Vegeta actually gets in a space pod, another one that the Ginyu Force maybe left somewhere, and he also goes en route to planet Yardrat, or perhaps maybe Goku goes somewhere differently than planet Yardrat. Because since we're specifically talking about Vegeta, you have to think that initially Vegeta would be very, well, Vegeta-like. He wouldn't be too accepting or welcoming of the Yardratians. I can see him not wanting any help, any aid. He would just be demanding that they get him off the planet. And once he realizes that he can't get off the planet, and once he sees and witnesses the instant transmission technique of the Yardratians and some other things, I think Vegeta would slowly come around, like he did in the Dragon Ball Super manga, to seeing that he could learn something and that he could gain something from the Yardratians, and perhaps in an entirely different character development for Vegeta, he would actually kind of be a protector of planet Yardrat. Not necessarily in the way of, oh, I am this planet's protector, I love these things. No, but as a mere kind of return of service to the Yardratians, I could see Vegeta being in that role where he would essentially continue to train, and he would just be there to thwart any threats that would potentially come to the Yardratians, and he would obviously be the main fighter responsible for dealing with those threats. And maybe with the story based around that, Vegeta builds an entirely different path and journey to gaining more power and to eventually becoming a god maybe at some point once you introduce Beerus, Whis, and so on. And Vegeta's story would be tailored around the fact that he has been fighting different villains that we don't even know about, that have come to planet Yardrat, or whatever the case may be. You look at how things have transpired on Earth, you just kind of translate that same concept and template to planet Yardrat, and that could kind of be Vegeta's story. And technically speaking, in that realm, he wouldn't have to return back to planet Earth. And while residing on planet Yardrat, Vegeta would eventually attain the powers of Super Saiyan 3. However, in this universe and in this timeline, Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 powers would be far more superior to that of Son Goku's Super Saiyan 3 powers. This would give Vegeta a much better edge in regards to fighting, and he would have a better stamina management system in place for managing the Super Saiyan 3 drain, compared to Goku, who still seemingly can only stay in Super Saiyan 3 for about 5 minutes. But Vegeta, at this point in this story, would have mastered that technique, and he would not suffer the same consequences that Goku appears to suffer while using Super Saiyan 3. And for the record, I think personally it'd be pretty cool to see a alternate version of Vegeta's character in that protector role, just to see how his mindset would be, and of course the power gains that I talked about earlier in this video, and how that would really showcase what type of potential Vegeta could really tap into if perhaps he wasn't surrounded by Goku and the others on Earth and any other characters in the Dragon Ball multiverse that Vegeta has actually been introduced to or has ran into throughout his lifetime. How would you want the story to go if Vegeta stayed on planet Yardrat and never returned to planet Earth? Please let me know what you think in regards to this down below, and whether or not this would be cool for Vegeta's character, perhaps in an alternate timeline.